Alright, so in this video we're going to look at the polynomial rule, quotient of powers. And if you remember, a quotient is the answer to a division problem. So what we're going to be looking at in this type of rule is what happens when we divide with exponents. So basically, this is what happens here. We know from before that a to the fifth means a 5 times, and a to the third means a 3 times. Well, what we end up doing is dividing a by a, which creates a 1. It goes away. So what happens is we can cancel out what we have when we match an a to an a on the numerator and an a on the denominator, and we cancel as many as we can out until we look to see what's left over. And that would be just 2 a's, or a squared here. So the rule then is to take the numerator exponent, x to the m, and subtract it by the denominator exponent, n. So we end up with this m minus n. Now let's look at some example problems to kind of give you an idea. So again, if I have x to the 6th divided by x to the 3rd, we know that x to the 6th would be x 6 times. So that's x times x times x times x times x. And then over x to the 3rd, which would be x 3 times. And so again, what happens is I can cancel out my x's on top and on bottom. So again, I'm looking at what I have left over, which is x to the 3rd. So this becomes x to the 3rd as the final answer. The easier way to do that is to take this numerator and subtract it from the denominator, 6 minus 3, which would give me 3. And again, that's what I had for my exponent over here. All right, we're going to do the same thing when we have numbers, except we're actually dividing them. Just as in a product of powers where we multiply, in quotient of powers, we're still dividing what numbers we can divide. So here we have 16 divided by 8, which is 2, positive 2. And then again, we want to look at our x's here. So I have x squared divided by x. Now remember, when it doesn't have an exponent, it's understood that it's to the first power. So again, x squared means x times x over x1, just to the first. That cancels out, and I'm left with just 1x. So this becomes 2x as a final answer here. And again, I got that by dividing my numbers, and I could take and subtract my exponents. 2 minus 1 would give me a power of 1 here. Now, just as before, when we have several different variables we're looking at or multiple numbers, we are still going to combine our numbers together, our x's together, and our y's together. So I'm going to start by looking at my numbers here. We have 88 divided by negative 22. So again, 88 divided by negative 22 would give me a negative 4 for the number. Then we're going to look at our x's here. So here we have x to the 5th and x to the 3rd. So I could do 5 minus 3, which would give me 2. So this would be x squared. And then we want to do the same thing with our y's. On the top, we have y to the 4th. And on the bottom, because there's no exponent, it's understood that it's a 1. So we have 4 minus 1 for our y's, which leaves me with 3. So this would be 4x squared y to the 3rd as my final answer for this one. All right, let's look at this last one here because I want you to understand what actually happens when we're dividing a positive 3 by a positive 18. Notice here that this is 3 over 18. That's like the fraction 3 over 18, 3 divided by 18. Anytime we have a smaller number on top and the larger numbers on the bottom, it is going to be a fraction. And the way I'm going to divide it is to reduce the fraction. So I can reduce both of these by 3. I can take a 3 out of both of them, which would leave me with 1 over 6. So this 3 divided by 18 actually turns into 1/6, or 1 over 6. And then we want to combine our x's again and our y's just as before. So here we have 5 x to the 5th, and then this is x to the 1st power. So again, that's 5 minus 1, which would give me 4 left over. So this would be x to the 4th. And we do the same thing with our y's. Here we have 7 over 6. So this would be 7 minus 6, which would leave me with 1. And when I write it, I could either write y to the 1st or leave it as just y. So the final answer here would be 1/6 x to the 4th y. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use quotient of powers as a polynomial rule. We'll continue. Keep watching the videos for more things, and make sure you ask questions in class.